I think the best thing about being alive today is that we're alive in a time when we have the tools necessary to see our society for what it really is. The clearer the picture we have, the bigger the change we can make. Thank you for stopping in to check out our idea to make the world a little better. I'm Michael, one of the founders of Go Unite. I work for an arts nonprofit in Salt Lake City. One of my jobs is to coordinate community volunteers, and I'm very fascinated with making volunteering more meaningful, so I've created games that also are effective event planning meetings. We play one game where we plan for worst-case scenarios. We play another game where team members have to deliberately try to sabotage the meeting, and we do that to help encourage group listening. We play other types of games too. And we've planned successful events with these games. Games help set expectations. They ensure that everyone has a voice, and they help us go to places in our minds that we wouldn't normally go, especially if set in a room of strangers. But the reason I think why these games can also be viable meeting structures is because games are based on rules. Good project management also follows rules. For example, teams have to understand their goal. They have to predict challenges, and they have to communicate effectively with one another, and they have to learn from past projects. Well, we can create games that do all of these things and more. But even more essentially, we can use games to create a new kind of attentive volunteer culture where we're much more in the room with each other. We can use games as a vehicle to laugh and vent our fears, even bypass our egos, and stretch our minds. Hundreds of academic articles talk about the educational value of games. They've been used to help people manage their lives and even help find cures for diseases. Games like Pokemon Go mobilize people to action, and I think the next evolution in gaming is in community building. The strengths inherent in games seem to be in the same areas where many organizations tend to struggle, like communication, clarity of purpose, having procedures that can be shared among a large group of people, team building. Games excel in these areas, and the implications of that are huge. For about 6 months, my team at Revolution United have been working with some local nonprofits. We meet monthly over video chat, and we're working to build an open source online community platform that helps us share our resources as well coordinate our volunteers. But the thing that I think is most exciting is that we're not just trying to build a tool, we're also building a giant game that helps us improve our community. We want to use games and technology to bring civic engagement into the 21st century. As I think we all know, the problems in the 21st century are impossibly diverse. It's incredibly hard to choose just one area to focus on. So we think it should be more about the experience of solving that problem than really the problem itself. In our gamified platform, we're focusing on the experience. Community members will be earning points and badges as they go from one organization to another in their neighborhood. And our online platform will gather analytics on the jobs being performed, and will use this info to make each job more meaningful. We can do this through more games. We can begin large-scale games immediately, using competitive challenges that encourage involvement in the community. Both Utah Arts Alliance and Revolution United have given sponsorship money for our monthly community challenge where people will compete for prize money to see who can make their community better. We're striving to activate the politically disenfranchised millennial game lover. To do this, our communities need to be fun and really convenient and state-of-the-art and designed for us to invest in and participate in. As crazy as it might sound, we think we could create a community-wide, ongoing, evolving game. This is a model for a project structure I designed. It's a scalable, dynamic framework that leads team members through an entire gamified project management cycle. If we ran this kind of practical game system through our available technologies, we could make hyper-efficient and fun communities. We could be playing games remotely on our smartphones, reducing the number of physical meetings, and increasing the value of the meetings that we do have. We believe it's important to start imagining beyond the world we live in. We really need to ask, what would we do if all of our current problems just disappeared? And of those things that we would do, what of those things can make our community better now? We live in the future, and we need to start thinking outside the box. What if we didn't come together to make our communities better? What if we came together instead because we actually wanted to be together, and our communities became better because of this? Games are a fundamentally human solution, and humans are most integral to what we're doing. So in our process of building this, we're now looking for our tribe, people who love trial and error, people who love making a difference, and of course people who love games. In closing, games are a central part of every culture that has ever existed. Games are older than civilization itself. We've experienced the power of practical games on the small scale firsthand, and we are excited to see the difference games can make on a big scale.